feels early. Just for crypto, it still feels so early. It really does.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video, ladies and gentlemen, I have an absolute monumental document for you guys today from hashtags. We'll get into them in just 1 second. The 2025 crypto investment outlook is what we're going to be diving into today. We are also going to be listening to individual representatives as I read through that document, kind of sprinkling in some of the commentary from the Ripple swell via a video clip of a panel discussion that was posted just a month ago on Ripple's YouTube page, listening to industry-leading experts from Lead Bank, BNY Mellon, Ripple themselves, FV Bank, as you guys can see here on the screen, some of the representatives that we're going to be listening to today. So buckle up your seatbelts. We do have a very interesting breakdown for you guys. Welcome back to the CYPRX platform. If you guys enjoy this video breakdown, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. This one is going to be one for the record books because, wow, if you are not getting into crypto, in my personal opinion, before we reach $3.5 to $4 trillion in total market cap, I have no idea what the heck people are doing right now, because the way in which this digital asset landscape is going to grow over the next consecutive couple of years, once it surpasses certain trillion-dollar levels, it is never going to see those low prices in specific digital assets ever again, in my personal opinion. Again, once certain milestones are reached in this digital asset landscape, just like the stock market is never going to trade back at levels that we saw, early 2000 levels, especially on assets like Amazon stock, Microsoft, so on and so forth. And the same thing is going to happen and replicate itself in the digital asset landscape. And I'm going to show you guys that via industry leading perspectives in today's video breakdown. Okay, so buckle up your freaking seatbelts. This one's going to be a good one. So real fast, this is the document that we're going to be jumping into today. Hashtags 2025 crypto investment outlook. But before we get into that, to educate you guys on who Hashtags even is and why you should even be listening to their 2025 cryptocurrency market outlook, well, here is their website. Let's just dive in. And I want to show you guys some kind of sort of Ripple connections in a way, but just information sprinkled in that is never going to reach the mainstream, that XRP ETFs are inevitable, and you don't want to get into this digital asset space when ETFs come abroad for all of these digital assets or a multitude of digital assets after these institutions ramp up the prices and start to invest. Okay, you want to get in, again, not financial advice, do your research. You want to get into this space before institutional adoption happens. Now, institutional adoption is happening, but I'm talking about trillions of dollars via the numbers and the projections that we're going to get into today via this 2025 crypto market outlook. You want to get in before this market reaches those numbers. We'll get to that in just 1 second. So hashtags, okay, who are these individuals? Crypto ETFs for innovative investors since 2018. So they've been in the game for a minute. Hashtags has empowered investors around the world to access digital assets in a familiar, regulated way. So they are a regulated entity. They are one of the world's largest crypto investment companies with teams in Latin America, Europe, and the United States. They currently have $1.31 billion of assets under management as of January 3rd, 2025. So this is updated information. They're the #1 crypto asset manager in LATAM, i.e. Latin America. And if we head over here to their About Us, this is very interesting. Just to read through this real quick, it says, they are dedicated to bringing crypto opportunities to the mainstream. They are partnered with NASDAQ to develop the NASDAQ Crypto Index. So I'd say that a pretty systemically important organization to provide global investors a reliable benchmark for this dynamic asset class. Back in 2021, they introduced the world's first crypto index ETF, enabling many investors to allocate to crypto for the first time ever. They believe that open blockchains are unlocking global growth and making economic opportunity more abundant and accessible. And then if we scroll right down here, they have a nice timeline, a historical timeline of all the things that they've accomplished, which is really cool to see. But what I really want you guys to focus on is down here. Okay, this is interesting to see. This is posted back on December 11th, 2024. So within the last month, as of time of recording this video breakdown, and it says, Hashtags appoints former BlackRock executive to lead U.S. sales. So I went on and I clicked continue reading, and it takes you to this website here where it says, Brazil-based asset management firm Hashdex has appointed former BlackRock exec Mick McCullough as its U.S. head of distribution to expand the firm's exposure to the digital asset sector in the region. In an announcement, Hashdex said McCullough will lead the distribution and growth of Hashdex's crypto-based exchange-traded fund, i.e. ETFs, offered in the U.S. market. He will also strengthen Hashdex's U.S. sales team. Tell me this isn't a freaking coincidence, people, okay? Before joining Hashdex, McCullough worked as the chief distribution officer at crypto asset manager Bitwise Asset Management. Do you guys freaking remember back in November 2024? Do you remember back in November? That rhyme. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I did not do that on purpose. It says here, okay, this is back from November 28th, 2024. You cannot make this stuff up. So we're about to read a document, a 2025 outlook from Hashdex. Hashdex disappointed this individual representative, this former BlackRock representative, to lead, as you guys can see here. Former Hashdex McCullough worked as chief distribution officer at crypto asset manager Bitwise to lead this ETF fund offering for the United States market. Okay. And look at this freaking report from the 28th of November, 2024. What Ripple's investment in Bitwise means for an XRP ETF. Ripple's strategic investment in Bitwise XRP exchange traded fund, or the ETP, has sparked curiosity across the crypto industry, with Bitwise rebranding its European XRP ETP into the Bitwise physical XRP ETP. Ripple's involvement raises one pressing question. Could this be the precursor to an XRP ETF? Ripple's financial backing of Bitwise's GXRP ETP represents a calculated step towards institutionalizing XRP. And do you guys remember on a panel discussion what Brad Garlinghouse said?
Well, I think part of the transition from maybe more speculative retail into more institutional adoption and participation is the ETF step. Certainly, the Bitcoin ETF getting approved, the SEC was dragged kicking and screaming a little bit towards that outcome. But getting the Bitcoin ETF, I think, was a monumental event in terms of expanding the ability for others to participate, particularly institutional investors. So to me, I think I said then publicly that if people would ask me, is there going to be an XRP ETF? And I just look, it's inevitable that there will be an XRP ETF. And now I think I actually don't even know. I think there's 4 or 5 different filings here in the US. I know at least one in Europe. And I think it's great. I think it's, again, not surprising. I certainly hope that we'll see some of those approved soon, and we'll see them trading so others can participate in the ecosystem that otherwise might not be able to because they don't want to custody crypto themselves, or other reasons that may exist. But I'm excited for sure, and I think it's a great sign, not just for XRP, but I think it's a great sign for crypto broadly. I will say, and I think many people know this, but the best performing ETF in the history of the United States was the Bitcoin ETF in terms of how quickly it hit 10 billion in assets.
Yeah.
Which I think, again, for those that think that, crypto's, there's not that many people, it's not that interesting, institutions will never do it. Every time the naysayers are proven wrong.
Every time the naysayers are proven wrong. Brad Garlinghouse openly mentioning, this video was posted 2 weeks ago, that an XRP ETF is inevitable. So take that into consideration via what I just showed you, because we're going to be reading this 2025 market outlook from Hashdex. Hashdex appointing this former representative from BlackRock, whose goal here, as you can see, is to lead the distribution and the growth of Hashdex's crypto-based exchange-traded fund. And before joining Hashdex, this former BlackRock individual worked as the chief distribution officer at Bitwise. And you guys see the connection here that I'm trying to pick up. They literally tell you this stuff in advance without directly telling you guys. Okay, it's very easy to pick up on this stuff. You just have to have a logical expansionary way of thinking to piece this stuff together. But here at CYPRX, that's what we're here to do for you guys, to show you all the information that the mainstream is not going to piece together for you guys. So let's jump into this document. Let me stop sharing screen here and let's go over to my highlights, because this document was phenomenal to read and is extremely bullish. Now, I do have to say, we need to understand that there are still some risk considerations in the market dynamics fluttering around as we speak. And so with that being said, even though I'm extremely bullish and optimistic long term, if we do see any sort of short-term market correction, I personally will view that as a buying opportunity to enter into blue chip digital assets at a discounted price. Obviously, of course, not financial advice, but given that this is a bullish market outlook video, we need to still understand that risks remain in the market, like inflationary pressures, possible President Trump tariffs, geopolitical escalations and tensions, the Bank of Japan hiking interest rates, leading to the unwinding of the yen carry trade, all things in 2025 that could temporarily weigh on risk sentiment still remain in the market. And so we need to take those things into consideration. We talk about that in our fundamental private Zoom calls in the CYPRX community, that in which if you want access to, you guys can head over to CYPRXtrading.com and join our private community. We'd love to have you on the team. But still, I thought that I'd verbally say that to you guys so that way you understand that there are still some risk dynamics that we need to get through before we see massive bullish expansion in this digital asset landscape. But still, overall, zoomed out long term, the uptrend remains intact. So let's jump into this report. Again, if you guys are enjoying this video breakdown, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. So this is the 2025 crypto investment outlook into the mainstream via Hashdex. And you guys already now know who Hashdex is. Here it goes on to say just a couple of my highlights. All right. I hope that you guys can see this writing. Again, it's kind of small print, so I do apologize in advance if you can't. But we're going to be reading through this. So it says here, we think the current investment case for Bitcoin and other crypto assets remains strong. The confluence of institutional demand, infrastructure advancements, and regulatory environments that will radically improve in 2025 is setting this asset class up for what may be the strongest year on record. The most important thing for investors to keep in mind going into 2025 that are investing in this asset class should be done strategically with a long-term outlook in mind. This in part is why the crypto index ETPs and ETFs have been at the core of our mission. In the same way, no one could have predicted which of the NASDAQ 100 stocks in 2004 would be the largest 20 years later. It's hard to predict which crypto assets will outperform in the long term, especially in such a dynamic and fast-moving industry. As with many other investments, crypto investments require patience, discipline, and the willingness to look at the world with open eyes. Then, if we continue to scroll down, it says here, crypto is becoming ingrained in traditional finance and helping shape the internet's next era, making this niche asset class an important portfolio consideration for investors. Now, with that being said, we're going to go back to those industry-leading experts on that panel discussion from RippleSwell, and I'm going to play a couple of video clips that kind of intertwine with what this Hashdex 2025 market outlook is saying here. Take a second and listen.
Yeah, I think we kind of look at things from the perspective of like capital markets infrastructure, right? So if you're able to utilize blockchain technology to enable the faster posting of collateral, for example, or if you're able to shorten settlement times, if you're able to reduce costs because of those shortened settlement times, then that is obviously a positive. I mean, we kind of look at it as digital assets and blockchain technology is really one part of a continuum of innovation in the financial services industry. I mean, that's probably a product of the fact that we've been around for 240 years, but it's an essential part of innovation in finance, and I think from a capital markets perspective, it has a real impact in the future of how people trade, settle, and send money for sure.
ETFs, just everyone's curious what banks are seeing, what you're seeing from your customers. What kind of demand have you seen for crypto-related services?
So, I mean, I think from our perspective, we are banking the people that are banking those that are in the crypto space, and so the demand has been immense, to be honest. And I think for a long time, especially in TradFi, there was a hesitance to dip your toe into the digital asset sector because of the high cost of compliance and the perhaps question of, was this something that was going to stick? And I think the answer is pretty clear and evident that it absolutely is. And now I think it's more dangerous for the US and for banks to not be willing to invest in it in the right compliant manner. But the demand is absolutely there. And again,
right. So you just heard perspectives from an industry leading expert from Lead Bank and BNY Mellon. The individual representative, the gentleman from BNY Mellon, said that he believes, or they see digital assets as an integral part or an expansionary part of the financial ecosystem. And then this individual representative from Lead Bank said that she believes that you are doing yourself pretty much an injustice, or from a financial institutional perspective, if you're not adopting these digital assets. You're putting yourself at risk. That is such a massive statement, because that completely has changed from the narrative that we've previously seen from large financial institutions that were hesitant from dipping their toes into this digital asset ecosystem. So do you guys see now how, again, these are perspectives that will never be brought to your attention via the mainstream avenues of approach of digesting news? They're never going to tell you guys that banks are saying these things, because they know what type of massive demand via a retail side of things that will create. So let's jump back into this report from Hashtags, and it says, in last year's outlook, we noted that this unique and often misunderstood asset class was on the verge of blending into traditional finance, transitioning from an isolated river into the expansive ocean of traditional financial markets and creating a new wave of financial innovation. We also highlighted that despite the major correction that we saw in late 2022, crypto fundamentals were in fact improving. Now, while the environment has evolved, our view on the impact of blockchain technology remains steadfast. Crypto is the most significant long-term investment opportunity available to both big and small investors today. Do you see how freaking massive that is, coming from one of the world's largest ETF providers in the digital asset space? That is insane that they wrote this out. Okay. And again, from my personal perspective, this is a little bit more of a lengthy one here, so we won't read this one, because again, we're already going on 17 minutes in this video, and I want to keep it below 20 minutes if we can. So check this out. It says, 2 major trends: the rise of Bitcoin as a store of value asset in the transformation of the internet through Web3 can make digital assets the top performing asset class of the next decade. Currently, the total market cap of the industry is just below $3 trillion. It wouldn't surprise us to see this industry growing to surpass $10 trillion during this market cycle as digital assets go mainstream, and these two forces pick up speed simultaneously in the coming years. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Exactly what I told you guys in the intro. You do not want to get into this digital asset space after we surpass $4 to $5 trillion. You want to get in before. $10 trillion is their market projection this cycle. That is so massive, because again, in my personal opinion, I firmly believe that that is achievable. We are in the early stages, as you heard that individual representative from eToro mention at the beginning of this video breakdown. And you need to understand the potential here that you have as an everyday average retail investor to get in before these financial institutions on board into this digital asset space at a massive rate. In the short term, it says macro factors like interest rates and economic conditions may bring volatility, but it will be adoption and utility that ultimately drives crypto's long-term success, and both of these are accelerating. In 5 or 10 years, we may look back on 2025 as a defining moment where investors who recognize the potential of blockchain technology and digital assets realized outsized returns. Again, this is not coming from CYPRX. This is coming from one of the largest ETF providers in the world, okay, especially in this digital asset landscape. So I thought that I'd bring that to everybody's attention. I had a lot more highlights, but we're going on 19 minutes, and I wanted to keep this video relatively short or below the 20-minute mark. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video breakdown, always bringing you guys the realest market information, non-biased, non-opinionated, just reading documented research and bringing perspectives to you guys that are never going to reach the mainstream from industry-leading experts from large financial institutions, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. If you guys ever want to dive into this information in a condensed way where you can come into a community, you can find all this information in one centralized location, then definitely consider in 2025 joining our private CYPRX Discord. We're constantly sharing these types of video clips and these detailed documents in our private community report. This one alone, this entire PDF bundle right here was shared in our private community via our CYPRX researchers, and it actually is condensed and has over 4 different crypto market outlooks for 2025 from some of the world's largest organizations in the digital asset space, like Signum. We also have Bitcoin Suisse's outlook in 2025. You can also see there's KPMG's virtual asset outlook for 2025 that was shared from December 2024, and then the State of Crypto 2025 market outlook from 21 shares. All of these fundamental PDFs were shared in our private Discord to give our community members insightful outlooks heading into 2025, keeping them on their toes, giving them perspectives perspectives that are never going to reach the mainstream. As always, many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant, be aware out there. If you're not subscribed to the CYPRX YouTube, do so now, and do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button. We do appreciate the love and the support. It does go a very long way, help boost that algorithm and push these videos out to more like-minded individuals like yourselves. With that being said, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own personal research. I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.